A beautiful Saturday afternoon, the 13th day of June. Thank you so much for keeping it TV47. Glad you could join us. Time for News Deck with me, Linda Alela. We take a look at the news stories that are making headlines across the world and, of course, right here at home. And we start off with a sad story as a Kenya National Police helicopter has crashed today morning at around 8:30 a.m. at Kaithe village in Imenti North, sub-county of Meru County. Now, 5 injured officers were rushed to Meru Level 5 Hospital and are now being airlifted to Nairobi. According to police reporter, the occupants were of the wheel-fated chopper, the Eastern Region Security Team, en route to MARSABIT on a peace mission. Eyewitnesses say that the helicopter was flying at a low altitude and the weather was foggy before it started whirling and it crashed in a farm.
Tukatoka kuweza kuona ni nini ilikuwa inaendelea, na kufika hapo tukakuta hiyo ndege imeanguka, na tulijaribu kuokoa wale walikuwa ndani. Tukatoa mmoja ambaye alituelezea walikuwa 6, na tukajaribu kadri ya uwezo wetu kuwatoa na tulitoa wote.
And now Rendile leaders are reacting on the crash, staged an address and also reacting to the peace mission of the Rendile leaders. Now, the community, sorry, let's take a look at what they are saying.
It's the current one, where 4 of our students have been killed. None of the media houses ever covered. We are asking as a community, do the lives of the minority matter in this country? Why is it that everybody is turning a blind eye to the plight? We believe all human life is sacred and should be protected as provided for in the Bill of Rights, whether that life is of minority community or majority community. The community is already reeling on the impacts of COVID-19, which is now exacerbated by senseless killings and illegal acquisition of their land. The Rendile community has most recently lost over 9,000 square kilometers to the neighboring communities. While the neighboring communities share borders with countries in conflict and have the access to small arms, the Rendile community fully depend on the government protection, which has not been forthcoming. In the past, the police reservists played a major role in maintaining peace. However, in 2018, the Kenya police reservists were sadly disarmed, leaving the Rendile community extremely vulnerable to the armed communities. We know that the assailants are from neighboring communities and are believed to have support from their political leaders. And the question is, how do they sustain their illegal activities? Because when they kill, they don't take anything from the people they have killed. We also know that it is not an open secret that the neighboring communities have schemed to dispose Rendile of their ancestral land because of their vulnerability. We know that the leaders of these communities are determined to use both illegal and legal means by first allocating Rendile community land to government agencies and then later allocating the same land to whoever they wish to give amongst their communities. In conclusion, first and foremost, I want to take this opportunity and in the company of the Rendille professionals who are here with me, that we want to condemn in the strongest term possible the systematic killing and ethnic cleansing of the Rendille indigenous people of MARSABIT that has been going on for 3 decades. That the footprint of the perpetrators of this heinous crime, in which 4 university students were killed on 8 June 2020, may their soul rest in peace, led to the farm of a well-known prominent person within MARSABIT County. Why is it then so difficult to identify the criminals? If entrusted to investigate, the police service can very easily identify the perpetrators through the local chiefs, Nyumba Kumi, village elders, and local political leaders. We want the police to trace and arrest and charge in court of law the perpetrators of this heinous crime. We also want the government to stop allocation of Rendille community land to state agencies until that time when it is registered as provided by the law. We also want the government agencies to treat all communities equal and provide security services fairly without bias. We also want to appeal to the government to reinstate police reservists for Rendille community or continuously disarm all illegal arms in the country. Illegal arms holders in the country. We are recommending continuous disarmament because we are alive to the fact that they can rearm themselves due to the proximity to neighboring countries. We also would like to request the government to open the police post in Songa, which was closed despite the perennial wave of insecurity. The police post needs to be reinstated. We also will want to appeal to the government that the MARSABIT Songa Road be rehabilitated by the county government so as to minimize the insecurity of using the Badasa Songa Road. We also want the government agencies and political leaders to promote peaceful coexistence of communities living in MARSABIT. Thank you. Any other person with a question? Please go ahead.
We'll get more details on the same and update you as and when they reach our very own editor's desk. Now let's proceed to a different story. And over 6,000 people from 2 villages in Lamu County have been displaced by floods in the Tana River Delta region. And now the floods that have already displaced 48,000 more in the neighboring Tana River County have further led to a massive destruction of infrastructure. Some of the residents are still marooned in the affected villages, and residents are now calling upon the government to find a permanent solution, with Lamu County the latest casualty of floods. This as 10 villages in Tana River County remain submerged by the floods.
Katika hiki kijiji saa hii ukitembezwa utalia. Ile doria ya hiyo msikiti peke yake ndio libaki.
Na imekuwa hivyo kwa sababu watu wanasongelea mahali maisha yalipo. Hawana hatia. Miaka 19 hakukuwa na mafuriko Tana River.
Miaka ijayo watu wa Chalaluma, watu wa Moa, watu wa Lamu wote wakae bila shida ya haya mafuriko.
Now, nurses in Mombasa have threatened to down their tools should the county government fail to pay them the COVID-19 risk allowances and May salaries within a week's time. Now, Kenya National Union of Nurses Mombasa Branch Secretary, that is Peter Maroko, said that Governor Hassan Joho's administration is yet to pay nurses their May salaries and had also declined to pay their risk allowances. Healthcare workers are on the front line in the war against COVID-19 and are constantly exposed to high risk of contracting the virus. Mombasa County has the second highest number of COVID-19 infections in the country.
We're having 23 plus healthcare workers who have already turned positive from this, and they don't have the basic insurance. How do we work? How do they expect us to work? Even if we say we have this strength, but how much strength do they expect us to sort of have? To what extent? How are they covering us? We're already running out of PPEs. Those at the front are wearing surgical masks, handling non-positive cases, and yet you're telling them to come to work, not giving them all these masks, and expecting some sort of superhuman effort from mere humans. So we are asking, actually we are demanding, we are not asking, that they take all our problems, because we have so many other things we will talk about, including promotions, including allowance that everybody should be getting. We are not even talking about that. We are talking about the basics that should be required for us to work. We've given them leeway for so long, but it seems they are taking it for granted. And if they take it for granted, we shall do what unions do, which is withdraw our labor services and tell our members to also work from home.
Ikapo siku ya Jumatatu wiki ijayo, na ikiwa kwamba hayo mambo mengine ambayo promotions, redesignation, hata pia kuna wafanyikazi ambao waliajiriwa na hawajaweza kuwa confirmed into permanent pension, kama hawataweza kutekeleza wajibu huu, ni kwamba tutawapa ilani ya mgomo sasa kamili ambao tutaweza kuacha kazi. Tutaambia members wetu kwamba hakuna haja ya kuendelea kufanya kazi ili tuweze kufanya kazi tukiwa nyumbani.
And President Uhuru Kenyatta has challenged his African counterparts to tap into the innovative abilities of the continent's youth as they roll out COVID-19 mitigation and recovery strategies. The president said the youth are Africa's biggest resource, adding that young people's creative minds and immense energy can be utilized to boost coronavirus response measures. The president spoke last evening at State House, Nairobi, during the 5th virtual meeting of the Bureau of the Assembly of the African Union. The meeting, convened by South African President Cyril Ramaphosa, who is the current chairperson of the African Union, was also attended by chairpersons of the African Union regional economic communities. The meeting was held to assess the effectiveness of the joint continental strategy on COVID-19, as well as receive a progress report from the AU COVID-19 special envoys.
While appreciating the magnitude of the crisis at hand and the need for resources to avert the looming catastrophe, I also wish to reiterate that our biggest resource at our disposal is our own people, especially our youth. We therefore need to pay special attention to education and training programs, and indeed we need to harness the digital revolution and innovation witnessed during this pandemic as a catalyst for post-COVID-19 economic revival, and which is a key creation of jobs for our youth.
Security officers in EMBU and coffee factory directors from the same county have been warned of dire consequences if any coffee theft case is reported. Now, during a coffee meeting in EMBU attended by Agriculture CS Peter Munya and the political leadership on Friday, Embu County Commissioner Abdullahi Galgalo warned the factory directors that any theft witness will see them behind bars alongside the perpetrator of the theft. And Galgalo directed the police to ensure that they coordinate with the directors and factory managers to know when the berries get to an amount that requires heavy security.
We tell people mapato ikiwa mingi wakati hawafanya,
and dragging further for giving even a more challenging position, especially the commercial traders or the buyers and all that. 3 points only, because today is your day. Today ni siku yako.
As a sector, we must this time round be ready.
Kahawa ikibiwa, with all due respect to you, my chairman na secretary managers, kahawa ikibiwa, the first people I'll come for is you people. Kwa nini kahawa inawekwa inarundikwa na wezi wanajua kuna kahawa imerundikwa imekaa huko? Security is expensive. Utoe 2,000 ama uibiwe kahawa 1,000,000. Which one is easier? Bas, so wapi OSPD? OSPD wote wawili. Where is the lady? Kinyo utachukua hii amri kwa niaba yake. Tafadhali Mimi maneno ya kuibiwa kahawa sitaki. Na kahawa ikishafika kiwango fulani, muanze kuchunga. Umesikia? Tumekubaliana na ndugu yangu Bwana Wambora. We had a meeting with all the directors wake na tukakubaliana kahawa lazima ichungwe. Maneno ya biashara ya kuiba kahawa halafu unarudishiwa pesa wewe kama chama na secretary manager, that is the nonsense I don't want to hear. Watu wanapenda kubembelezwa. Mimi sibembelezi watu. I tell you that vile iko.
Wakati tunaajiri wale wanachunga security pale, let us as much as possible look at the kind of people that we bring on board. It has always remained a challenge because most of the coffee factories have always been reported to employ very old people. Unapata watchman pale ni wa 80 years, 75 years, who cannot of course do anything in case that's attacked.
Well, and it's time that Newsdeck takes a short breather time for us to pay some bills. We'll be right back with more news. Thank you so much for choosing to stay with us. Newsdeck is back with more news. Now, the Kenya government has embarked on improvement of police housing and civil servants countrywide as a way of sanitizing their environmental status. Mr. Muli Kiwa, the chief architect in the State Department of Housing and Public Works, said that already 145 housing projects in the country had kicked off and some are nearing completion. Now, the CAS said the project will accommodate over 60 officers and is expected to be completed by December this year, when the contractor will hand over to the ministry.
It's one of the 45 housing blocks we are doing throughout the country. Some have already been finished and handed over and in use. So this one is about 40% complete, and as we've been told, by December it will be finished. We shall come here and hand over. The composition of the unit varies from station to station depending on the staff they have. So this one just happened to be the more of the bed-sitters than the 2 bedrooms for considerations given by the police headquarters. This, as housing has been done, again, we have the master plan and projections of what is coming next after the houses. We know they will require a police canteen, they will require a social hall, they will even require some a medical facility and a better office. So those are still in the pipeline.
Amechukulia manani, ameona ni vizuri askari wa Kenya wakae vizuri because they take care of us. If they take care of us, we need to take care of them. And we have about 45 projects going on around the country. This is not the only one. I was in Meru. The Meru one is complete. Yeah, this one by December it will be complete. So we want to tell our officers we are working with them. They are part of government, and we are going to ensure they also live well like the other people.
And it is good news for Makueni residents as the county government signs an agreement with KMTC to open up a new campus in the area. Now, the campus, whose construction is set to start in September 2020, will give priority to the locals, thereby making a big economic and social transformation in the county.
Tutakuwa na certificate in medical engineering na pia community health assistant, wale wanasaidiana na madaktari, na pia tutakuwa na diploma in radiography and imaging na diploma in pharmacy. Maundomanda hawa daktari ni bei ya juu. Huyu daktari yako hapa atakwambia hivi, hiyo pesa nusu yake hata zaidi itatumiwa hapa. So you can see the extent, the magnitude, the extent of the socio-economic transformation ambayo hapa inakuja hapa.
Indeed, that will go a long way in ensuring that more youths get employment, and most importantly, of course, the people who are on the front line on matters of health are equally incorporated in most of these centers that will be, of course, across the country. Remember, the president also talking to the governors and, having an agreement on how best health facilities can be tightened, of course, at this point of COVID-19. So we can only wish them nothing but the best. Now, let's cross over to a different story. And for many years, hiking has played second fiddle to other leisure activities locally. But now, with the government enforcing containment measures, the desire to go out and hike has seen Kenyans embrace hiking as a leisure activity. Now, what was once viewed as a foreign game or is now ingrained in the Kenyan lifestyle. Now, our reporter David Mudhoga had a chat with Gitonga Wawandai, one of Kenya's experienced hill climbers, and filed this report.
We are living in abnormal times. You will often hear that. An era marked by containment measures that have ushered quarantines and confinements as governments worldwide grapple with COVID-19. A new normal it is. People feel trapped, and the urge to go out has become immeasurable. Confinement itself has had its toll on the fitness of most Kenyans, with quarantine weight gain, the new term in town, almost inevitable for everyone. This prompting Health CAS Dr. Rashid Aman during the daily COVID-19 update at Afya House to urge Kenyans to engage in exercise activities to keep weight at bay. And a triple effect has since been witnessed. Joggers now are a common sight in every corner of every street in Nairobi. This every dawn and dusk. The story does not end here, with hiking now joining the long list of popular outdoor activities for urban Kenyans.
Now, almost everybody hikes at some point in their life, either consciously or subconsciously. Largely regarded as a westernized culture, hiking is slowly but surely making its way into the local arena.
When I sat down for an interview at Ngong Hills Hotel with Gitonga Wawandai, the founder Hike Maniac Limited, a tour company, I was literally burning to know why hiking is gaining such popularity among Kenyans.
More people are staying in the cities. We are getting very disconnected with outdoor spaces. And people are spending so much time within enclosed spaces. And the interaction with nature, with trees, with the rain, with the natural environment, basically. People are getting detached.
An experienced trekker himself, hiking is more than just an activity. For the Othaya-born 37-years-old father of two, to him, it is a therapy and a much-needed escape from reality.
So for me, there was also the commitment that people need to be more connected with nature. And it was not just the physical activity, but it's also the connection with self, because hiking is also a very meditative sport.
Gitonga says growing up, he never participated in any sport. Well, none interested him. Little did he know that the many kilometers he had to cover each day to school and back home on foot were preparing him for his now realized destiny. Many years later, while still a student at Kenyatta University, Gitonga says the urge to embark on his maiden expedition grew so irresistible. His maiden trek was one he vividly remembers hitherto.
It was in Ukambani, a place called the Tala area, and it was a 3 days hike, and it was first we didn't have the right gear.
The hike maniac founder has never looked back, with hiking now being his source of daily bread. Under his tutelage, Gitonga has seen thousands of Kenyans join his trails that range from local to international. He still reminisces some.
Outside that, the experience to go to the Everest was really key in 2017, February. Actually, it was like the first time I was leaving the continent.
His supreme ambition is to be the first black Kenyan to ever set foot on the peak of the world's tallest mountain, the Everest, which is 8,848 meters above sea level, with preparations already underway to undertake the world's famous mountaineers Mecca in 2022. Gitonga terms that as the epitome of his passion. Gitonga admits containment measures against the coronavirus pandemic have crippled the frequency of his expeditions. On the flip side, they have also become an eye-opener.
But towards the start of May, we started going back. We started with the Gong Hills. Then we found other trails in Kikuyu.
Gitonga's love to literally get high remains a burning flame. A flame so blue, a flame so unquenchable. David Mudhoka, TV47.
And that beautiful story by our very own Mudhoka marks the end of Newsday. Thank you so much for keeping it at TV47. Looking forward to see you again later in the day as we expound more on the news stories that are making headlines. Do enjoy the rest of your viewing. My name is Linda Alela.